Welcome, everyone. So glad to have you here because we got a very important topic to discuss. First of all, let me know, can you hear me? Can you hear everything? Raise your hand. Let me know. Okay, awesome. Very good. And so obviously this is a topic that is a great focus for women for a variety of reasons, which I will share with you. So we will open it up for Q&A towards the end because many of you will probably have some questions while we're doing this presentation, and maybe the next slide that I get to will answer your question. So with that said, for some of you who might be here for the first time, my name is René Nourse. Oop, and we got some more people coming in. Um, and founder and CEO of Urban Wealth Management. So very happy to, as many of you know who have been on our webinars or attended our events or read our blogs, our primary focus is working with and for women because we have been overlooked and underserved. And it is extremely important for us as women to really be focused on helping us to create the lifestyle that we desire and deserve and create the legacy. Now, the most important thing is, and y'all can Google this because this is really mind-blowing. By the end of this decade, which is only 9 more years, the women in the United States will be owners of 75%, 70 to 75% of the United States wealth. Majority of that will be coming through from inheritances, but also because women are now very engaged in building out businesses, practices. We're becoming in strong leadership positions also. So it makes it that much more important for us to understand what our roles and our goals are. So with that said, if you've not had a chance to come to our website, I want to share that with you. And we are Urban Wealth Management, but we also have a group called Smart Women, Savvy Money, because all women are smart. And we want to make sure that you get savvy about handling your financial life. So here, when you come into our site, if you want to see what kinds of activities are coming up, you can go to our Smart Women Savvy Money or to the blog page where you'll be able to see upcoming activities and what our roles are and how we work with women, not at the exclusion of men. This is today's topic. And next month, there's going to be a focus about how to create your focus on your personal life for those people also, as far as what their business objectives, their professional life is all about. This is going to be a great topic. Next, here in September, how to keep your brain healthy. And that is really key because as we know what's happened here with this pandemic, it has really slapped a lot of us because we've had to be confined to our homes, to small spaces, have not been able to have a chance to get out. And so this is going to be an amazing topic. In October, we're going to have one of our top leaders who we have been referring clients to for several years, who's going to talk about reverse mortgages. And she is amazing. I've actually referred about 3 clients to her already. One of them is a long time. She's like my second mom. She just turned 97 years old. And so they made the reverse mortgage process quick because the older that you are, the larger your reverse mortgage pay can be and in a shorter period of time. In November, we're going to have a piece about cybersecurity because as we know, the US has been slammed and slapped very badly. And so this is going to be an important topic for everybody to really listen in on about how to protect yourself. Because many of us are probably still going to be working from home, or even if we're not working full time, we might be on boards, nonprofits, we're still going to be working virtually. And so it's going to be important to understand how to stay protected in this whole process. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started on this very timely topic. But We also are posting all kinds of blogs and relevant content that you will definitely really enjoy and find out a lot about. So, with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started, and you'll be able to see what is going to be the most important issues that we need to address. Bottom line is Social Security really secure? And the answer is, you betcha. The key points are that women really need to understand why and how Social Security works. So what we're going to focus on is really just really focus on women. I have some other presentations that include men as well. But because this is a Smart Women Savvy Money group, we want to make sure that y'all know what the right rules are. Women represent 56% of all Social Security beneficiaries that are age 62 and older, and about 66% of all beneficiaries. When we say beneficiaries, not somebody who's passed away, but receiving benefits. 66% of all beneficiaries that are age 85 and older. So we make up the predominant number of those individuals who are collecting Social Security. So what we're going to talk about are some of the strategies that you need to look at implementing. Before we get into that, because we are SEC registered, we have to have disclosures, blah, 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 blah. And we will have this presentations, everything is recorded, so we will be sending these out to everyone. So first off, and this is one where I will ask you all the question, how confident are you about retirement? So you can raise your hand, say, or put it in the post box, or let us know how you feel. Because what I'm going to share with you now also is what are some recent statistics. So last year, there was a survey that was done with almost 6,000 people, 5,900. And as you can see here, far as they asked the question, are you really confident about retirement and what those steps are? Only 17% of women felt very confident. 30% of men felt very confident. So essentially, and then we're talking about somewhat confident, not too confident, not at all confident. The majority of these are individuals who have not felt confident. And the reason why is because we as women are multitaskers. And we're also going to talk about why this is really important. So at the end of the day, the confidence level with women is 64%. For men is 72%. So the reasons why is because we have gender pay gap. And as we know, we still are only earning a certain percentage of income relevant to men. And as a result of that, means that we probably are going to, the majority of us will have to work longer. A few more years of work is going to allow you to do a number of things. Pay down debt, add to your retirement savings like your 401k account, raise your Social Security benefits, and reduce the retirement drawdown period at a time. The gender pay gap means that a full-time working woman will earn only $400,000 less than her male counterpart over a 40-year period of time. And that's assuming they're in a medium income earning. We know that there's bigger shift and a change in terms of what those incomes are. Translated another way, a woman needs to work 50 years compared to a man who works 40 years to be able to get a decent retirement income and good breakthrough. So everyone's situation is different, but we know that because of what we do as women, raising families, staying with our kids, taking time off, our spouse might be getting a job change and moving to another city, another state, and we have to take time off. Or we're taking care of our parents. We are the multitaskers that stay in that. And so it's important that we know that's the reason why. That's another reason why it's so important for us to really get very aggressive about what our future income needs are going to be at retirement. In addition to the fact that there still is this gender pay gap. Hopefully, we're going to see that to start to shut down and close. So overall, women are less likely to save for retirement than men. And the median household retirement savings for women is less than half of what it is for men. Now, this quote came from a study by Transamerica Center on Women, Retirement, and Extra Long Life. One thing I will say to you, and this has been pretty much true for the last 4 decades, 80% of men die married, 80% of women die single. So men have the benefit of also, if their spouses have worked, they've got combined income benefits from their Social Security, their pensions, their retirement accounts, their 401ks, etc. But the majority of women, unfortunately, pass away on their own. So yet another reason why we need to know what those steps are. So the reality is that we already just talked about. There's lower lifetime earnings. We tend to have lower pensions, but we live longer. So when you have all of those things combined, it really becomes essential that you know and understand what the steps are in order for you to get to these right levels. So we live longer, and we still are at the point where even though there's been some progress, women are still earning less than men. We're up to 82 cents for every dollar that men make. I remember when I started in the industry years ago, women were only making about 55 to 60 cents compared to men. And that's on a broad base. But women of color, we're still at a very low level in addition to this. So still is amazing the fact that we might have the same skill sets and the abilities and the background and education, and we still are not earning the same amount that men. So in any event. So here's where we're going to really focus on these next steps. The value of Social Security. It really is, unless you have, even with a pension, not that many people have pensions anymore. But Social Security is actually the best way for you to have a lifetime income benefit. So here's some examples. Let's say Social Security is one of the few sources of income you cannot outlive, or your spouse or former spouse can't outlive. But if you're worried about running out of personal assets in your old age, you need not to have that fear that with Social Security, because it continues until you die. And of course, the longer you live, the more you will extract from that system. So let's assume that if your monthly benefit is $2,000 today and you live 10 more years, you're going to have an additional 276,000. Now, this is assuming also a 2% annual cost of living adjustment. 20 more years, you'll receive a total of over 600,000. And 30 years, over $1 million. Now, one of the things I think is really important to know too, whether you're getting Social Security benefits now or you're waiting, when you hear that there's a cost of living adjustments, you get the benefit of that too, even though you're not taking your Social Security right now. It is going up. It is appreciating based on what the COLA is. So keeping that in mind, and then we're going to talk about how important it is to look at your Social Security statements and how to read it. It also offers some annual adjustment, inflation adjustments, as I just mentioned. So using that as an example, that 2% cost of living adjustment, if you're looking at you starting out with $2,000 as a monthly benefit, in 10 years, it goes up to over $2,400 a month. In 20 years, it will go up to almost $3,000 a month. In 30 years, etc. So that is historically what Social Security actually, their cost of living benefits have been increasing at a higher rate, but this is on a more conservative level where you will see that 2% annual increase. Now, let's talk about what are the primary things and the rules for each one of these. Whether you're currently married, you're divorced, you're widowed, and or you're remarrying, or you're single, guess what? your benefits are still strong and are going to be an integral part of your retirement life. So let's talk about the fun stuff. Things depend on what your marital status is, but whether you're married or you're widowed or you're formerly were married, you can still potentially have access to your former spouse's Social Security benefit. It doesn't affect their benefit. They're still alive. What it does, it affects you and gives you an opportunity to start receiving some benefits. So here are some top questions that you need to ask yourself and be knowledgeable enough. Do you qualify for benefits on your own work record? You got to have, as we probably know, 10 years. Have you paid into Social Security for at least a 10-year period of time? That makes you eligible for receiving Social Security benefits on your track record. Even if you've been someone that has not worked at all, and we've had that in previous generations where the spouse, the wife, has been working from home or not working at home. Well, she has had a job taking care of the kids and family. She can still get benefits based on her spouse's Social Security benefit. So that's important to know. Next, you want to know if you are currently married, has your husband started receiving his Social Security benefit? There's a different rule there. Or is he waiting? And have there been any prior marriages? If you've been previously married, what are the rules that can impact what your Social Security benefits would be? So depending on your answers, you might be entitled to not just one, but more of benefit options. There's retirement benefits, spousal benefits, divorced spouse benefits, survivor benefits, your spouse passes away, but you're no longer married, you got divorced, and your former spouse has passed away. You can also qualify to get benefits. The rule is, though, for being a former spouse and survivor benefit or survivor benefits, as long as you were married at least 10 years. If you are in the process, and I remember giving this talk a few years back, saying if you're married for 10 years, and one person said, I couldn't stand it anymore. I wanted to leave my husband. It was 9 years and 5 months. If you had just waited, if you had just waited a few more months, you could have. She was mad with herself. She said, oh my God, I wish I had known that. Make the divorce final after the 10 years, even though you're on that path to divorcing. So that 10-year rule applies for you paying into Social Security on your own and paying the Social Security taxes in order for you to get your own benefits, but also you have the ability to apply for your former spouses if you're divorced, if you've been married for 10 years. And then you can let yours sit until, we'll show you in a minute, for you to get your maximum benefit at age 70. So how you coordinate these benefits is crucial in determining what your overall Social Security income is going to be. And so we need you to know the rules. So definitions, these are some key words and titles that you need to know. First off, highly strongly recommend, no matter what your age is, to set up your Social Security account online. When you do that, not only will you be able to see what your benefits are and your statements, they do get automatically updated. These are, if any of you are getting the hard copies in the mail, it looks the same way when you're going online. But the other part is that it's really important because I just talked about how we've gotten slammed this year. You can also check to make sure nobody's using your Social Security number. So definitely setting that up is important. So the first thing that you want to know is understanding the rules. What age is your FRA? What's the maximum benefit payment? And what's the retirement income for you and your spouse? So what is FRA? FRA is full retirement age. Now, many people have thought that full retirement age could be 62, 65. It's not. You have to look at your Social Security statement to see what is full retirement FRA. Some people say, you know what? Yeah, I was born in 1957. I can start getting my benefits at 66. But you can see here, it needs to be 66 and 6 months. And if somebody applies at 66, they're not going to be getting their full retirement benefit. It will be reduced for the rest of their life, unless they stop and say, oops, I made the wrong decision. And there are some ways that one can get around that. There will be some changes. I also just saw recently how our current administration is looking to make some changes for taking money out of the retirement accounts, updating the Social Security platform, which desperately needs to be done, and also being able to extend this out. So this is important when you look at your statement to know what is your benefit. Now, this is just a copy of one, may not be able to see it as well, but definitely go into the site. The other key term that you need to know is the PIA. What's the primary insurance amount? What is your benefit when you start taking it at your full retirement age? So in this example here, you can see that this person's full retirement age is 67 years old. If she waits until 70, it goes up by 8% a year. There is an increase in that benefit. You can also see that people can apply as early as age 62. But look at that difference. Between age 62, they're only getting $1,406 versus if they wait to their full retirement age, they're going to get over $2,000. And that's based on the current year. Again, it doesn't include that 2% or whatever the US decides is cost of living increase. We might have a higher amount here for the first time in a number of years because of inflation here in the US. When you hear about inflation, you're going to see an increase in that. So retirement benefits is really important. If you've worked for at least 10 years, as I mentioned, in a job that paid into Social Security, you'll be entitled to a retirement benefit. There are certain professions, however, that can be impacted by it. If you're working for the government, for example, if your education field, it just depends on if somebody has a pension and they're not paying into Social Security. You still got to pay Medicare. Still got to pay it. Everybody gets Medicare insurance. But that's also a really important point to make, to understand. So here's different locations where you can go into the Social Security site to find out what is your benefits. Do some calculations and click on estimate what your retirement benefits are. You might say, I am tired of working. Okay, I know my full retirement age is 66 and 8 months, but I'm 65. What will my benefit be? And you'll be able to look at those calculations. Now, whether you're retired or not, as I said, you will be getting that cost of living increase. But sometimes people are not aware of the fact, and this has happened with a few clients, they did not understand that when they took their benefits at 62, that they're seeing a 30% reduction in their Social Security benefits for the rest of their life. And they said, Renee, how can I get over that? And I said, well, you stop now. You wait until your full retirement age, then you will be able to get your maximum benefit or hold off until age 70. So there is some ways to get around that, but a lot of times people are not aware of how to do that. So getting into this site and checking in, definitely going ahead and setting up your Social Security account online is really important. Once you do, you typically are not going to get the hard copy in the mail anymore. But you could change your mind, but we want to help the government to save some money. So getting yours online, and you can go at any time to get it. So when to apply for Social Security, these are the key points that you need to be aware of. If you apply early, your benefits start lower and they stay lower for life, as I mentioned. COLAs, the cost of living increases, magnifies the impact of early or delayed claiming. The longer you live, which is the case with women, more beneficial it is and could be to delay benefits. The decision impacts your survivor benefits as well. So tell your husband to delay his benefit, and I'm going to show you some of the reasons why. This will increase your survivor benefit if he passes away first, which is generally, unfortunately, the case. So here's a sample of what this would look like. What if you apply before your full retirement age? So you can see here at age 62, you're only going to get 70% of your benefit. And let's assume that somebody's here, their full retirement age is 67, age 67. And if their full retirement age is 67, their PIA is $2,000. If they decide to apply at 62, they're going to get that 30% reduction. And it will be, of course, it's not going to stay $1,400 for the rest of their life because there's going to be a 2% cost of living increase or whatever the inflationary rate is that will go up. But compared to if they waited until 67, you can see that difference between $1,400 and $2,000. Now, here's another important point to take into consideration too. Let's say, and this is true for a lot of people, they're still working. Well, they said, oh, I've saved a lot of money in my retirement account, or I've paid off a lot of things. I don't need as much income. And a lot of people don't know that your Social Security income is still taxable. A lot of people are like, what? I've been paying this for years. It still is taxable. Depending on what your total income is, it's either going to be 50% or 85%. The majority of people has the 85% of their Social Security income is taxable. So here, what if you apply after your full retirement age? Your benefit increases 8% a year up until age 70, and it maxes out. So if you're lucky enough to have a job where you're getting an 8% pay raise, that's great. You will get that here with your Social Security benefit. And so you're looking at this example, a person starts, they take it at 67, but they decide, I'm going to wait till I'm 70. They're going to get an 8% annual increase. So by the time they take it at 70, they got a 24% increase in what their base benefit is. It goes up from $2,000 to $2,480. And again, each year between 67 or 68, 69, there's an 8% increase in that benefit. That doesn't include the cost of living. So if the cost of living benefit is going up, increasing by 2%, which has been historically, and there's that 8%, then that's a 10% increase in that Social Security benefit each year. So it's important to know how that works. So let's talk just briefly about spousal benefits. When Social Security was first instituted in 1935, as we know, most women didn't work. And actually, as you probably heard this before, when Social Security kicked in, because it was after World War I, the person who had who lived the longest and was receiving the Social Security benefit was a woman. And she passed away about, I think, 30 years later. So we do live longer. Now, the way the spousal benefits work is that 50% of your husband's PIA, if you apply for it at your full retirement age, could be part of your benefit. So in this example, Jack and Jill are married. Jack's PIA is $2,400, and Jack files for his benefit. Jill's spousal benefit would be 50% of that $2,400 if she applies for it at her full retirement age. And so she could be receiving that $1,200 a month. She's worked, and she's going to hold off on taking her own Social Security benefit until age 70. And then she would have that significant raise. And so she would switch over from getting her husband's spousal benefit to getting hers and whatever her income would be at age 70. Divorced spouse benefits. Even though you're no longer with your spouse, you can still take advantage if there's been a differential in that income. If your benefits, your Social Security benefits are not significantly higher than what your divorced spouse is, and as long as you've been married 10 years or over 10 years, and you're currently unmarried, up until age 60. That's the rule. But anyway, what happens is you married at least 10 years, you're currently unmarried, your ex-spouse is at least 62, and if the divorce occurred more than 2 years ago, he does not need to have filed for his own benefit. You can file and get a benefit and still hold yours off until age 70 and get that maximum benefit. Survivor benefits. When the survivor benefits can be claimed, they can be claimed as early as age 60. And I know we have one or two here who are like that. Or 50 if you're disabled. But if you claim at 60, the amount will be reduced. So it's generally better to go at your full retirement age. Young widows shouldn't automatically file for their survivor benefits as soon as they turn 60. But you need to analyze all of your Social Security claiming options when you're deciding when to file. And to qualify for a survivor benefit, you must have been married to that person who passed away. Living together doesn't count. If you died during the marriage, you only need to have been married for 9 months, unless it was an accident. You don't have to be married that long. I guess maybe they think the wife knocked him out or something. I don't know. But if he died after you divorced, that marriage must have lasted at least 10 years, and you still would qualify, even though you're divorced, but he's a survivor. He passed away. And this happened with a client of mine a couple of years ago, and she didn't really believe that she could get benefits. And she was in a year where she was going to hit her full retirement age, and Social Security said, oh, you know, we can see that you were married. She was married for 20 years and a spouse passed away. They were divorced. And they said, you can actually get his benefits. And so they went back, even though he had been passed away for, I think at that point, a couple of years, but they gave her 6 months in a lump sum. And now she's receiving the survivor benefits and she's holding off on taking her own Social Security benefit until she hits 70. So she called me back and said, I should have believed you. So it makes a difference. If you know what these rules are, it can really make a big difference in managing your life. So with that said, the divorced spouse survivor benefits are the same as survivor benefits if you were married at least 10 years. Guess they like the 10-year rules, whatever it is. You're currently unmarried or remarriage took place after age 60. So you can get married, fall in love with somebody else, say, wait till I'm 60 and 1 day, and then we can get married. And you can still get your spousal survivor benefit. So here's an example. Sam and Sue were married from 1970 to 85, and Sam passed in 1995. So they had gotten divorced. And as soon as she turned 60, she will be eligible for a divorced spouse survivor benefit. But remember, though, that if she starts at age 60, it will be reduced. So she would have to wait until she turns 66. The full retirement of that FRA is really important to know. What is your full retirement age benefit? Otherwise, you can get a reduction in what your survivor benefits would be. If you think you might outlive your spouse or your ex-spouse, and odds are you will, you want to encourage your spouse to wait till 70 to start his Social Security benefit. Because again, waiting until age 70, you've got a maximum benefit. And so if he passes away, and remember there's that 8% increase annually from their full retirement age up until age 70, then whether you're married or you're a survivor and they pass away, then you will be getting that maximum benefit. And if you're younger than 70, you can hold off and you can get that survivor benefit when you turn 70. And your benefit is going to be greater than what you were being paid before as a survivor benefit. It'll switch over to yours. So you can claim your survivor benefit at full retirement age or later. and coordinate it with your own retirement benefits. So Social Security and remarriage. Remarriage at any age cancels out divorced spouse benefits unless that marriage ends. So you want to keep that in mind. If you remarried at any age, you can't receive divorced spouse benefits. But only if you're already receiving divorced spouse benefits and thinking about remarrying, understand that your divorced spouse benefit will stop. However, you might be eligible and able to get spousal benefits based on your new husband's record. So if you're planning to get married, find somebody who's got higher income and resources. If you remarry before age 60, you can't get survivor benefits or divorce spouse benefits. So the bottom line is waiting until at least 60 or your full retirement age. Depending on which road you're going to go down will dictate what your best benefits are. If you remarry after age 60, you can still get your survivor benefits or your divorce spouse survivor benefits. So just as long as you know the rules. So I know we cover a lot of things here, and I want ladies to get savvy. I do have a few documents that I can forward over to you. This Social Security Quick Reference Guide is actually a 2-pager, and I can send it to you virtually. In addition to that, there is a booklet here that's called Baby Boomers, Boom Boom Guide to Social Security. And it's a great outlay of a lot of the things that we just talked about today, but in greater depth. So knowing what these rules are ahead of time is going to be crucial because we live longer, but we make less income. And one of the things that I also did not point out, when you're looking at your Social Security statement, one of the pages shows what your income has been since your original professional years. And sometimes because they pull that information from IRS, and you could look at it and say, that's not right. I didn't make that. I made more than that. And that's happened a few times with some clients. And they have to go back to IRS and they go back to Social Security because that has an impact on what your Social Security benefit is. The Social Security benefit is based on your highest 30 years of income, not the last 30 years. You might have made a lot of money before you, higher income before you started a family. So they'll pick out the top 30. And oftentimes people are still working after they hit full retirement age or they hit 62 or 60. And IRS and Social Security is looking at that and saying, oh, she's making more money than she did 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So we're going to keep that in there and use that to activate what her benefits are going to be. So I'll make sure to get that to you. So ladies, I know we covered a lot. And so if you have any questions, this is the time where you can raise your hand and let me know what your thoughts are, and we can answer your questions from there. Okay, so Tanina.
I have a question, Renee.
Sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Tanina, you had a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a question. Hi, Renee. It's good to see you.
Hello.
So my question was about the 40 points, like the point system, and that's what you just explained. They take your highest earnings for 30 years, and then that's where you get your max benefit.
Right.
Okay. And then my other question is about partial retirement. Is it possible to retire through the Social Security and you're still working part-time on a 1099, like you're consulting or something, and then wait to retire for the 401 and Roths?
Yes, you can. You have that flexibility. But the thing I would suggest is to look at what would be your Social Security benefit. Now, would you want it to rise to get to your maximum benefit age, which is 70? And let's say you're working part-time. And just so that you all know, when we say a lot of people are not aware, which I didn't bring up, somebody starts working at filing their Social Security benefits at 62. They're 5 years away from their full retirement age. And they're saying, okay, I'm getting my Social Security benefit, but as soon as you make for 2021, and it changes each year, as soon as your income that you make is over $18,500, it reduces your Social Security benefit until you get to full retirement age. So it's important, and it doesn't completely go away. It does come back. But if you know what those rules are, it will help you decide, okay, if I'm going to work part-time, I'm going to make more than $18,800 this year. And it could make sense to pull money from your retirement account, your 401ks, your 403bs, and try to hold off till you get to your full retirement age at the very least on Social Security, because you will get that reduction for the rest of your life.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Hello there.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a question. I did get a chance to, first of all, this is really great information. So I got a chance to check my account to see where I'm at. And I realized that I'm shy some units. And so I know that I have to go back in and work part-time. How does that affect, I would say, the particular job that I take? Would that be based on that level of income, or would it be something that was much higher that I worked previously? So how would that affect, how would that affect me?
Well, you mean in terms of how your Social Security benefit would be calculated?
Yes.
Yeah. If you're working the part-time, it's at the lowest level, they're not going to even take that into consideration for determining what your Social Security benefit would be.
Okay.
They're looking at, as I said, it's not the last 30 years. They're looking at the 30 highest years. So if it was, if you're working part-time now and you've been doing that for 3 years, they won't take those last 3 years into consideration. They'll look at those years where you were making the highest income. And that's what gets calculated to determine what your Social Security benefits would be.
Okay, awesome. And I just advise every woman that's on here, check and see your credits, because, you don't want to get to the point where, oh, I have the credits and then you don't. And then it's like, you're at the last minute trying to scramble to work somewhere until you can make up the difference.
Right. And that's why I was showing that PowerPoint where you may have to work a little bit longer because women live longer.
Sure.
And interesting, and IRS thinks that we live longer. So as you all know that you've got to take money out of your retirement accounts. They've changed it from age 70 to 72 now, but IRS, and this is on a sheet that I have, is assuming that people are living to 101 on average. And so they want to make sure that they get that money to pay out their taxes. So again, and the majority of us are the women who are going to be living to that age. So even if you applied for Social Security and you realize, oh, I got a great opportunity to work full time, you can stop taking the Social Security benefit and it will sit. And you say, okay, I'm going to wait till I get to my full retirement age, or I'm going to wait till 70 or 68 or whatever, because you will get that increase in the benefit. It'll just shut it down. And so you won't go back to that lower level of what you got paid before. So as long as you know what, the different paths are, it will help. And we have had that situation with some clients to tell them, just hold off, and some have been just absolutely shocked to find out that they had to pay taxes on their Social Security benefits, even if they're working or not working. It still is taxable. Mm-hmm. So you definitely want to get your maximum benefit as much as possible.
Yes.
And plan that appropriately.
Thank you.
All right. Sure.
Hey, Renee.
Hello.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
Thank you so much for this. This is so informative. So I just want to make sure that I heard correctly. So I was married for 24 years, divorced, and my ex-husband is older than me. So he is already collecting Social Security. So I'm 62. So if something should happen to him, like if he should pass, I have to wait till I'm 66 to collect the divorced spouse benefit. And then it only goes to age 70, right? Until I would collect mine.
Well, actually, you haven't remarried,
No,
okay?
God, no.
So yeah, you can, at your full retirement age, whatever that is, you will get that spousal benefit. So if it's 66 and 2 months or 3 months or whatever, you want to
Mhm.
see what that difference is, then yes, you will be able to get that survivor benefit, and you can hold off and let yours grow, continue to grow up until age 70 and switch over to yours.
I see. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's
All
very
right. Okay. All right. Well, this is just one of the presentations. I have a lot more content that I would love to share with y'all about Social Security, retirement planning, Medicare, and we'll be bringing on some more. I think we'll have our Women's Summit. We had a great Women's Summit last year, or 2 years ago. We would like to have another one. Hopefully we get on the safer side of this pandemic, we'll have a women's summit, but that'll be a big project and content that I would like to talk about, because no matter what your age is, you really need to know what the rules are and get aligned with that. So with that said, I thank all of you for your time. I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
And come to our next Smart Women Savvy Money webinars. We've got some great content here over the next 4 months. And stay on our list, and we will be sending out the recording. And for any of you, I will send everyone that online version, but if any of you want to get this Baby Boomers Guide to Social Security, you can email us at, you can come into the website. If you have my personal email, you can do that as well. But you can just come into the website and contact us and say that, yeah, you want the Boomers Guide to Social Security, and we'll send it out to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank
right.
you.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Very
Have a good
good.
night.
All right. Bye.
Bye.